Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so let me introduce Marco Barbaro. In 1996, after graduating university, he joined the forces with his brother into the restaurant business. At the age of 23, he bought his first multifamily property, four family in New York. And in 2013, he began investing with his brother and friend Jake in Knoxville, Tennessee, where they purchased their first 25-unit deal. And ever since then, he has partnered with Jake and Gino on his own, now over 2,500 units. And Marco exited his race in 2019, joined Jake and Gino team to help out with coaching students, raising capitals. He joined forces with his friend and partner Hadar, started MIH Mastermind, which is a successful multifamily mastermind group full of high-performance, like-minded investors. Marco excels in networking, building teams, and putting people in place to succeed. He is a husband and the father of three beautiful girls. His family and multifamily are his two main focuses in his life. Now, without further ado, I present Marco Barbaro to you. Hey, Marco, welcome you.
Joseph, what's up, buddy? And I saw Joe. Joe made the call.
To tamper with, disable, or destroy the lavatory smoke detectors.
Oh,
the safety card in your seat
can you
pocket
mute yourself,
the
please?
safety features of this
That
airplane.
is fantastically funny.
Yeah.
Thank you for that moment.
Thanks. Oh, and we have Joe Sullivan, my partner, co-host. Thought he went to a mini vacation with his family, but he realized this is going to be a lot of fun, so he joined.
Yep. Hey, everybody. I snuck out to jump on this call. I am on a vacation with the fam, but this will be a good one.
So, Joey, what's up, buddy? Good to see everybody, by the way, tonight. Valerie, I see everybody here. Francesca, Christine, nice to see everybody.
God bless you, Marco.
So, so I made a small presentation tonight of I kept it very simple, guys, just my journey. I know people don't ask questions because people are afraid to ask questions. I wish you guys would ask questions. That's why I do networking calls. There are names on here that I don't recognize. Get on a call with me. I know you're more comfortable asking me questions more one-on-one because you don't feel more like a beginner. It's okay. We're all beginners. We all started out the same. And even though I'm at 2,500 units, I'm very humble. And I'm learning every day. I'm still taking classes, guys. I'm taking a YouTube course with my cousin. And in my mastermind, Nicole's taking it. We're taking social media courses. I'm learning every day. So I've been doing this 23 years. I am still learning. And you know when I'm going to stop learning? I think when I'm 80 years old, if I make 80, so I'm never, we do 1% every day, guys. It's self-improvement. So, our mastermind, Jake and Gino and the MIH mastermind, we're very humble. We're a different community. We're a go-giver community. So, we always there to lift each other up. So, Joseph, before you had like 3 questions that you, I think, wanted to ask me, and then I'm going to go into the presentation.
So today I prepared 3 questions for you. The first one, so for beginners on this call, what advice would you give them to get started and to stay motivated?
See, I'm glad if there are beginners on this call. And I'm glad you asked me that, because the beginners on this call, I know want to ask questions. And at the end, I'll say, hey, is there questions? And nobody asks questions, And then sometimes I feel like I don't do a good job in the presentation, but then I get texts, hey, you did a great job. So for beginners, in this space, I'm not going to lie nowadays, this space is, I tell people, the most competitive space. It is now. It was not in 2012 when I show you my journey. In 2008 in the crash, and 10, 11, 12, even 13, 14, around 2015, my brother started his podcast. I didn't know what the word podcast was. And then Jake and Gino came out with Wheelbarrow Profits, the best. I'm going to show you guys, the beginners, where to go look to get free education for 2 years. In 2015, podcasts started to become very popular. Now, everybody has a podcast. Everybody's out there. Social media is taking over. That's why it's so competitive. So for beginners, what I say is if you get excited and you get into the space, don't jump and maybe join somebody really quick. First, you got to vet them. And we tell everybody, Valerie, Francesca, everybody who joins my mastermind, I tell them, vet everybody, but go learn for free. So just make sure the space is for you. I know it's for you. I know it's for everybody. Even if you have a hard W-2 job, you can get in, like Danny's on tonight, Francesca's friend. He's in construction. I was talking to him. You can get in as an LP to start. You don't have to go get a 20 unit or a 10 unit. If you have $50,000 or 25, if you have 25, get a friend, get another 25, put it together, form an LLC, invest in a syndication just to get in there and get your feet wet. You get a little check coming in and you get educated and you're in the space. And then then reach out. Like, I'm going to share my screen right now. Joseph, enable me to make me host. I'm going to share the beginners, where to go get free education. There's so many places. You just go on YouTube, but get on a podcast, watch podcasts, a whole bunch of them. Can I share, Joseph?
Yes, your call.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say go to jakeandgino.com, my brother's company. Okay. You go to podcasts right here. Look at all the podcasts he has. Go to Wheelbarrow. So Movies and Shakers and Wheelbarrow Profits. Go to Wheelbarrow Profits. He did a podcast with Kiyosaki, with Grant Cardone, with Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. You have 1031 exchanges, cost segregation. You have podcasts for 2 years if you're a beginner. So you click Wheelbarrow Profits, subscribe here, whatever. Look at all these podcasts for free. Michael Gerber. I mean, some of the biggest names out there. So that's the thing. When somebody's a beginner, they think you need to drop money right away. Yes, I'm going to get to that. You will need to join something eventually. But look at all these free podcasts, and they're one better than the next. So Creative Cash. This is a seller financing podcast, basically crushing your limiting belief. Hey, I don't have any money to invest. Well, go find the fourplex and do it seller financing. So he has a book, Creative Cash. He wrote the book. Bill Ham wrote the book, and it's with my brother. They're promoting it with him together. He's a deal expert coach for Jake and Gino. So I'm just here tonight, guys, to show you resources, basically. Look at all these amazing podcasts my brother does. And he's got 6 kids. Okay. So let me stop share it there. So for beginners, before you take a jump and right away, go watch some podcasts, see if you like the space. Then if you like the space, like Francesca and Jim did, they came to MM3 a year and 2 years ago because we didn't do MM4 is happening this year. We skipped here because of COVID. They came to MM4 and they saw the energy, they saw the education, they got excited, and they didn't even join right there. Then I told them, because they're from Yorktown, I'm friends with them from Mayapack. Then after a few weeks or whatever, they took it in, they looked at podcasts, then they joined Jake and Gino. So if you guys are in this space, you don't have to join anything, but to get a 4-family, a 20 unit, a 15, that's okay. But when you want to scale one day, you want to be in a community. And I'll get into Yosef, and we'll do this by telling stories. So for the beginners, we teach think big, start small. We're a humble community. We're not 90 units in 90 days. And this is guys like Valerie, who comes to my meetings. This is repetition, but it's going to hit home. Valerie and John you guys started with a 4-plex, right? A duplex, right? And there's a pretty cool story about Valerie. She was in an accountability pod with Jake and Gino, and she was in the space, and they were feeling a little frustrated, a little down. This is like before COVID, 2019. I remember I jumped on the accountability pod, and I don't know, Valerie, I don't know if you remember this story. And I got on, and my job is to get them, to keep them motivated from dropping off, because it's so easy to drop off in this space. You have a tough W-2. You got a wife and kids and everything. You don't have the time. There's so many excuses. I have no excuse up there. So many ways to make an excuse to stop doing this and just go dump your money in crypto or stocks or whatever, right? So I got off the pod. I was on their pod, and they were questioning, and I kept telling them, don't worry, just do this, do that. She texted me after. She goes, you know what? Thank you for that call. She goes, we really were discouraged in this space, and we were about to give up. And because of the positive energy and words and the mindset I did on that call, I kept them in the space. And now, Valerie, do you remember that conversation or no? Do you remember me coming on that pod?
I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
It was a long time ago. It was that first pod that you guys had.
Okay.
But now after that, what did you guys close? You guys closed a couple properties, right?
Yeah, we've got a couple more, and then even today we sent another offer, and that looks like it might be seller financing on another 12 units. So,
but now you don't remember as good as I do. I have that text though it's actually on my old phone that I don't throw out. You texted me. You were like, thank you for the call. I remember you were like, we were really discouraged in the space because you're in Jake and Gino, but you felt like this is so competitive. Are we ever going to see results? You know, and I remember that, and it's a good feeling that if you can change somebody's mindset, that's what I like to do, is get them into a good place and keep them in the space. That's what you want to do. That's objective for a beginner. So for beginners, I'd say get educated, but after you get the education, start vetting people. Join Jake and Gino. Join them. If you want to be in the space, you spend $100,000 to $300,000 in college. Go spend $10,000. Go invest in yourself, $10,000, $20,000 in the right community. Like even my mastermind is $5,495 a month. It's nothing. The Jake and Gino community is worth every dollar. So that's any beginners on here. That's my one thing about Bigger Pockets. I like Bigger Pockets, but there's a lot of people. You got to be careful. Bigger Pockets is a great site on Facebook, and it's very big. And you get a lot of free education and free information there. You got to be careful. A lot of people go on Bigger Pockets. Don't say what I say. They don't believe in investing in themselves. They're like, oh, why would you go to pay for education? We could get it for free. So it's pay to play. Remember this quote. My brother says, pay to play or seek to serve. There's a lot more meaning in that thing. Okay. So pay to play is invest in yourself, or seek to serve is just go work for somebody. Okay. So yeah, it's that. I'm going to get into more about in the presentation. Joseph, what's question number 2 that you had?
Second question I have is, what's the number one thing that made you successful in your opinion?
The number one thing in multifamily. So the number one I think I'm actually going to cover in the presentation. The number one thing I think made me successful, I think, is velocity of money. That people sometimes they don't understand because it's not that easy to do, but you should always strive for it. And I'm going to show you how. I think sometimes when people come in and they don't have the capital, they'll come in and say they're in the 20s and they don't have a lot of money to invest. They want to syndicate right away. They want to raise money, get an acquisition fee, get all these fees. But I think I'm going to show my humble and modest journey of how I was in search of general partner deals with my brother and Jake. And the velocity of money is the refi and rolls that we did. The refi and rolls got me to financial freedom, not syndication. Syndication to me is like another W-2 job, which is good. It's a tool in the toolbox, and I am doing it a lot now. So I'm not going to put it down, but I'm going to show my humble path in my 20s when I didn't have a lot of money. Like I get a lot of 20-year-olds that come into the space and yeah, I'm 25 and they're all pumped up and they went to Grant Cardone 10X and they know everything. And I'm going to be financially free at 30. And they throw that word out there. And I'm like, I'm 46. I started at 23 with a 4-family. I'm going to go through my presentation, a house of 28 cash with my uncle. My 3 daughters, one was in tennis, one was in gymnastics. I was making a lot of money, 250 to 500, whatever, a year. If you don't have a lot of velocity of money, that financial freedom word you're throwing out is not really going to happen unless you're making 2 million liquid, 3 million liquid. So I'm going to get into that. So when people come into the mastermind, they're like, yeah, I want 20,000 passive income in 2 years. It's like Hadar right away. My partner goes, so at 10% return, do you have 2 million or 3 million to, deploy? So they'll put that out there and they're very aggressive, but then the topic I'm going to cover tonight is being realistic. Yes, we're going to talk about big goals, but you also got to be a little realistic to achieve those goals. So, Joseph, I would say velocity of money. I'm going to cover that in the presentation. So, okay. And it's definitely achievable. It's hard, sometimes harder to achieve, but it's definitely achievable.
Thank you. I'll be glad to hear about the velocity of money. The last question I had was, if you had to go back, what would you do differently, if at all? And you can probably cover that together with your presentation.
Yeah, it's going to be in there. What's good is my brother, for the young people, it's these meetups are good because I didn't make big mistakes, but I made mistakes. And the mistakes we made, my brother actually points it out. The mistakes we made got us to financial freedom. And I did a 4-family when I was 23 years old. And I remember one of my friend's fathers said to me, I was dating my wife. I wasn't engaged. It's a good story because my wife, when I was dating her, didn't want me to buy the 4-family. She wanted a house right away, like 26 when we got married at 28. And I actually told her, I said, no, I'm buying this with my brother because my brother's making me buy this 4-family. I always tell the young people a story. And my wife's like, I don't want you to buy it. And I told her, well, I'm buying it because we don't have kids. I said, I promise you we'll have a house at 30 or 35. I said to her. So I bought the 4-family, and I remember my friend's father told me, he's like, wow, that's really great. It was cash flowing $1,500 me and my brother a month. We put a lot of money into it. We fixed it. It was a nice 4-family. I remember him saying one thing when I was 23. He's like, get a couple more of those before you have kids. I remember him telling me, because when the kids come, it's true. When the kids come, you got to live life, guys. I'm going to talk about journey. It's not just about closing deals. It's not just about financial freedom. You got to enjoy the journey. Financially free is great, but I mean, you got to enjoy, you got to buy a house. We have to buy everything. You got to enjoy your kids. I became financially free at 41. I could have pushed and maybe tried for 30, but I'm going to show you my journey, how I didn't rush, how I ran my restaurant and how I think I did it the right way. People could do it differently nowadays, but you need to join something. If you're in your 20s and you're that financial freedom where it's really big, you need to join the Jake and Gino. You're not doing it on your own. So the mistake, Yosef, I would say I bought 2 shopping centers after the 4-family, me and my brother. Reno, what's up, man? What we learned is commercial space is not for me and my brother.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking about this 10 years ago, and to my brother, when we bought these shopping centers, I was young. It was in 2005 before the crash, and we got hurt really bad in 2008. Because when the crash came, the Taekwondo, we had to lower the rent. We had a construction guy in the back with 10 trucks, a plumber. He went out of business. We lost $4,000 in one building, and he just went out, and it was $2,000 out of my pocket, $2,000 out of my brother's pocket a month on that building. And in New York, these buildings weren't cash flowing a lot. So what we did was we had like $1 million equity in each shopping center. But in New York, New Yorkers buy property a lot of times to, one sec, let me shut this off, to park money, basically. So in New York, we used to buy a shopping center, say we didn't look at the return back in the day. We would park the money there, have equity in it, and get the tax benefits. So that was a mistake. We bought those shopping centers. We didn't do bad with them, but we didn't do good. It was really stressful running them on my brother, especially the one up in Poughkeepsie. What I learned was from those shopping centers, once we sold them, after those shopping centers, we didn't have Jake and Gino. It was in 2008 this happened. In 2013, we started investing in Tennessee. When we bought our first property, our 26 unit in 2013, we didn't even know what a CapEx budget was. I'm not joking. And my brother read a lot of books. He was very educated. He'll admit it right now. So guys, we bought a 26, and that property nowadays, we put 35,000 each, me and my brother and Jake. It was a 26 unit. It was giving us 20% cash flow right away. I was getting about $800 a month each of us. In 1 year, the velocity of money, we refied it. Jake gave me back my 35,000 and I put it into another deal. That property nowadays, 35,000, gives me 2,500 a month on a $35,000 investment.
Wow.
Because we bought it in the upturn. People won't believe me. I could pull it up. It basically refis itself every year. I only put 35,000. So the mistake we made on that property was we didn't have a CapEx budget because we didn't know what we didn't have Jake and Gino. We didn't build the foundation. We didn't have all these other things. So 6 months in, the septic tank went. It was $20,000 to repair it. So Jake calls me and he's like, hey, we're not going to get paid for 6 months. And I'm like, I don't care. It's fine. It was extra. It was extra money invested. My job was fine. But nowadays, if I bought that same property right now, like Yosef, our 44 unit that we have a CapEx budget. We have a reserves budget. We have everything. Right. So it would not affect us now because in 2013, we did that property. Once that happened, we learned about CapEx budgets. My brother read up on it and everything. And in 2015, he started to build the business. He started to build Jake and Gino, and he started to build everything and all the platforms that he has. So, we started as beginners also. We made a lot of mistakes. And, when you meet somebody, if they tell you they didn't make mistakes, they're lying. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Just don't make them again. Don't make them a second time. Learn from your mistakes and get better.
Great. Okay.
That's that's that. Let me share my screen. All right. So I'll get into the presentation. I'll try and go really quick and just get some questions. I looked at the names. There's some people on there that don't know me. These are my websites, marcobarbaro.com and mihmastermind.com. I do have a mastermind. It's basically closed out. We are still taking some applications. We're fully booked. In November, we're going to allow a couple people in. You can look up the website. We have a student success page. I'll put up all the info in the chat. This is my direct sell. I built my everything upon networking. If you don't know me and you want to network, I really have basically nothing to sell to you. I can add some free value. I'd love to, if I don't know you, I'd love to network with you, because later down the road, you never know where it turns into a deal. Or our mastermind, we have deals all over the place. And if you're in a certain market, maybe I would send you one of my mastermind members to you that has a deal. So if you want to reach out and network, text me. I'll schedule a networking call with you. So getting into, and guys, while I'm talking, I'm going to go through this really fast. I'd rather answer a couple of questions at the end if there are questions, but I'm just going to show you my journey, and I'm just going to hit, the best way to, I always told you, even Saturday when I do Yosef, is to try and tell a story for you guys to learn, to keep it interesting. So I'm going to use examples of people like for the beginners, like, how am I going to succeed in this space? Or for the people who are in the space succeeding, how am I going to keep succeeding and stay motivated? So my thing is first of all, you need to be realistic in this space. If you're realistic, you're going to be successful. You know, when people join Jake and Gino or join my mastermind, they come in and they're like, they don't have a lot of experience in the beginners. That's fine. I know their journey. I'm like, I look at them like, you need 8 months to a year of just flat out education. I'm like, because I have 23 years of it. So you need to get educated. And they look at me like, I'm like, how are you, like, you could find the deal in a month, but are you ready? Do you have a KP? Do you even know what KPs are? Do you know, do you have an LOI? Do you know how to drop? And they're like, no. I'm like, that's the thing. So you need to be realistic. Take a look. Where are you in your journey? That's where you need to look. And that's fine. My cousin Rainbow is sitting right here next to me. He started the mastermind in 2020. He needed 1 year, I told him. I gave him some tough love because he's my cousin. I said, you need 1 full year of education. And he did it. And he's a general partner of 4 deals now. And he's part of my company. And he's working with Yosef. And he's fully educated. And he's actually doing the social media course. And he's doing education every day. He left his job and now he's full-time multifamily. But he started out as an LP. And he did a full year of education. He just actually, I was coaching him one-on-one for every Sunday we would get on. And then I got so busy, I kind of fell off and COVID hit and he was kind of quiet about it. So I'm like, listen, let's get back on. He's like, and like 9 months went by. He goes, I've been doing it. That whole Jake and Gino education plan. I said, really? He went through the whole platform and I actually made him go through the whole platform a second time. So now we're revisiting. So number 1 is be realistic. Tips and secrets to 2,500 units. My life's work started out in 1998 when I was 23 with that 4 family to 2021. And you know, young people who come in here, it's fine. I had somebody come in at 30 years old in my mastermind. He wants to be financially free by 35. That's fine. I give you a more realistic plan. It's definitely achievable. And if you're 25 and you want to be financially free by 30, but that's not the path I took. I took a journey of a different journey. So in 1998, I started with the 4 family, 50,000 invested. I had 50K invested. I had to actually borrow 50,000 from my father to do renovations with my brother. And my father made me pay him back. Somebody in Jake and Gino, Tristan Tully, a young kid. I think he's like 26 or 28. He's in that picture below. This is his post from Facebook. He shared his win on Wheelbarrow Profits. I want to show you guys the beginners and even the people who are in it doing it, thinking like, hey, I need to land the deal. Why? I've been educating myself for 1.5 years and talking to brokers. Why don't I have a deal? Like you feel like you should have a deal. No, it's that competitive space. So I'm going to show you what he did. And he landed a 4 unit after. So he wrote, close the 4-plex of San Antonio. Many thanks to Darren Light, Gino Barbaro, Belham, and this community for giving us the confidence of how to pull this off. Right here, he put in 30 offers. This is his post, 70 deals underwritten, 3.5% down. He got 80%, I think, cash on cash. That I copied, and he's ready for the next one. I had a lot of talks with Tristan, and I'm coaching him too. He's in California, I think, if I remember, it was a long time ago, and he wants to move. And what I did from New York to Florida, and I told him, because I have some white hairs in my beard, you got to listen to the people who are getting older. So I said, Tristan, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen to you. And he's like, what? I said, you want to move? You want to move to Huntsville, Alabama, your market, or Carolinas? I said, your family's not going to react well. I said, your family's not going to react well. Your mom and dad are going to freak out, everything. He's like, no, I really think so. So I said, yes. So I started coaching him. I'm like, do you really want to do this? I'm like, you better prepare for your family. I walked him through everything that happened to me with my mom and everything, and my friend, even my friends and everything. And he's like, no. He called me a week later. He's like, everything you said was spot on. He goes, and then we had a long talk. He goes, can I talk to you? I said, yeah. I said, ask me anything. And then we talked for about an hour or maybe even more. And, you know, he has his heart set on this. He's very passionate about it. He wants to be financially free by 30, 35. He wants to start with a fourplex, like, and get out there and build a portfolio and raise money. And that's where I'm going to get to. So I walked him through it. I said, listen, it's, if your mom and dad, of course they're gonna be upset. I said, do you really want to do it? Then you just got to do it. It's you got to do what you want to do. And we had a long talk, and he thanked me for it. He's like, you know, he's like, I don't know if it was for you and your brother, if I'd be able to move, because, and a lot of times if you're not, like, if he wasn't in our community, you know, your parents, everybody's saying, no, you need to stay here. But in the end of the day, you know, when he has kids, does he really want to be in California raising those kids? Is there a future for his kids in California right now? I don't think so. I'm a New Yorker. I'm financially free. I could go live back in New York. You know why I left New York? I didn't leave for me. I miss my friends, but I'm going back 4 times a year after COVID because I can go work anywhere. I came down to Florida. My 16-year-old knows it. I said, I don't see a future for my kids in New York. Where the taxes are, I don't see them affording a house. So I came down to Florida. I live in Ponte Vedra Beach, a beautiful area, TPC Sawgrass. And I want my kids to be in this area, whether they move to North Carolina, Tennessee, or Florida. I love New York. I used to actually love New York. I don't see a future anymore in New York and California, because when the recessions hit, I lived through 2 recessions in New York. I was a senior in 1990, the first recession. I saw my dad live through it. And in 2008 and 2007, the recession was so bad, I had the #1 restaurant in Mayapack, in Putnam County, in TripAdvisor. #1 rated restaurant. I'm a 10-time award-winning chef, and I almost lost my restaurant. And I was trying to explain to my wife, you know, when I went home, I'm like, in 2008, I'm like, you know, I don't know how we're going to do it. Like, you know, like saying, she looked at my face, you know, basically pay our mortgage. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, you have the best. I said, it doesn't matter. So when recessions come, New York and California, they hit the worst. In 2012, I called Jake when the recession's there. And I'm like, so, you know, I'm like, it's really bad up here. He goes, there's no recession down here. You know, even now, the next recession that comes in Tennessee is #6 anti-recession in the United States. Orlando in Florida is booming so much. What's going to happen? California, New York are going to get slammed. And then states like Tennessee and Orlando, yeah, they'll get affected, but they're not going to get affected like New York because they're growing. You know, so these areas, you want to be in the areas, if you're investing, you want to invest in the areas that are growing. You know, I own 1,800 units in Knoxville, Tennessee. And in 2013, I bought most of my units at $35,000 a door, where they're now 80 to 120 a door, and you can't even find them. So this is right here, Tristan Tully. This is what it takes. It's whatever it takes. If you really want to be in the space, then if this is too much, you could still be in the space. Just be an LP. There's nothing wrong with being a limited partner I have closing 3 deals right now. I have 2 more deals in the works. You know, look for Chris Jackson, me, Colin Schwartz, really good operators. So you could diversify your portfolio. You could be in stocks and crypto. And if you want to get in this space and you have an awesome W-2 and you love your job and there's nothing wrong, be an LP. It's the same thing. You're going to get paid a little bit less return, but for doing nothing. You don't have to sign a loan. You don't have to take risk, and you're still making money. So I'm going to use some more examples over here. Vianne, you're on the call tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here, Mark.
Okay, so I'm gonna call you out a little bit, but so Vianne's doing excellent. She started out in an LP position, and then she actually got into a general partner deal also too. And so she's now, you know, people come in and like, oh, I want to be a general partner once they get this thing. And it doesn't matter. So we were in Houston and we're having dinner together. She came out to one of our events and she says, yeah, you know, we're building her plan in the mastermind. And then she's like, yeah, I'm open to investing. And she's talking to me and Chris about if we have something, she's probably going to come into one of our deals as a limited partner while she's looking for her next general partner deal. Because why? Because in the mastermind, I talk about momentum. Just keep doing something. Diversification, momentum. That's leverage. It's what we talk about in the mastermind. So when she said that, I said, that's awesome. And I'm bringing it tonight as an example. That she's not closed-minded, that she's not like, I have to find my deal and it's got to be with me and just me and maybe a couple. No, she's opening to partnering as an LP position because she has the capital. While she's looking for a general partner position, she wants her money working for her with a good team, create momentum. So that's the great mindset that she has. And I told Chris, I said, Chris, she's going to invest. It's great. I want, and you know what? I want her in our deal. I want her energy in my deal. I was so happy when she said that. Our deals are funded. I don't need it, but I want certain people in my deals. You know, it's that great energy, it's that proximity I teach. And that's why I was excited she was going to invest in my deal. Same thing. Next example, Francesca and her husband on this call. They started, joined Jake and Gino. They started as an LP position in a 43 unit in New York. Unbelievable deal. And that just creates momentum. And she's on podcasts and they're doing, they do stuff with my brother and they have their own GP deal now. And now she's learning everything in the mastermind. So she's doing social media. She's talking to people about it, getting friends and family involved, which is great. You know, so she's learning how to attract money and she's doing it the right way. She's doing it slowly over a couple of years. She's not rushing into it. So that's another great way, another person example who started as an LP position. So now I'm going to get into the velocity of money, which was answering that question real quick. 2013, after all the mistakes I made in New York, we finally invested in Tennessee. I did my first 26 unit deal, put 35,000 in, just 3 partners, me and my brother and Jake. That same year I did a second deal and I was scrounging money, you know, because I had a beautiful house. I had $1 million house with a $200,000 mortgage. I had 2 cars paid off. I had very low debt, but I didn't have a lot of money in the bank. I had $800,000 of equity in my house and I didn't pull an equity loan. So I was scrounging around. I put like 75,000 in 2 deals. But what I learned when I really started to do well, because I made a lot of money at work, but when in 2014, a year after, Jake raised the rents. I have 18 generational wealth properties and 7 syndications. I have 25 total properties. I have refied all 18 generational wealth properties. And I have, in 1 to 2 years, and I've taken that money out and rolled it. Okay. Because I don't care how much money you make, you're going to run out of your money. You're never going to be fully liquid. Okay. So in 2014, this was life changing for me. It was such a good feeling. I kind of feel not stupid saying this, but I didn't know velocity of money. You know, they don't teach that in college. And I was building a restaurant. I was so focused on chicken parm and food and picking up LaGuardia Airport that I wasn't learning the velocity of money. And I wasn't learning like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read it, but I was so busy building my restaurant up and picking up Sloan Kettering and weddings and stuff like that, that in 2014, when we refied these 2 properties, Jake called me and goes, he says, hey, I'm giving you 35,000. I'm like, from what? He's like, from the property. And then I asked a stupid question, this competition, is my cash flow going to go down? He goes, no, the cash flow is going to stay the same. So I got $75,000 back. So you look at it, you don't think it's a lot, but you look at it, you're like, how long would this take me to make at work? How many days you have to go to work to make $75,000 tax-free? So it's actually like $100,000. Okay. So, cause I'm not selling those properties, they're generational wealth. So I took that money. I'm like, keep it, put it into another property. And that's just powerful. You take that 75 and that 75 goes into another deal. And that's making me 2,000 a month. That's just like found money. You know, how long would it take me to save 75,000 when I worked making 250 a year between paying my daughter's dance and gymnastics and everything? A long time, you know, depending if you had a couple of really good years, but those years I was building my houses and stuff and you're in your 20s and 30s, you know, now it's easier for me. My third deal, I put a total of 100,000. I took that 75,000. I added a little bit to it. It's the Hammond. It's 150 unit property around there, something like that. That property, we bought it in 2014. It was in the upturn. It gives me $4,500 per month on $100,000. That's a deal. Those are hard to find nowadays. I think in the 40, Yosef and Joe, the 44 unit that me and you bought, that I helped build the team that Joe found and came to me, and I helped build that team of you, Hendra, Joe, me, my buddy Jared from New York, and Jason. That is going to be an amazing deal. That I am so excited for you guys because I've done it 18 times. I don't need it. I'm can't wait for the day. We bought it, the rents are 500. We're raising to 750 and 795 easily. We had a 3-year plan of a refi. It's a 1 year. And I'm not pushing, we're not pushing each other. Hendra's got a good plan. We're going to do that. Yosef, like I keep telling you, it's not the amount of units you own. Your life is going to change when you get that refi check in your hand. You put in about 80,000 or 100. I can't remember what you put when the splits we had. When you get that 80 grand or 60, whatever you put in back, you look at it. And I know you're a lawyer, you make great money, but you look at it, you're like, this takes me a while to make, a long time to make. And now we're going to take that money and we're going to put it into another deal.
Yes.
And then now, and I told Yosef today, we have closing 3 deals with Chris, syndications. We have 2 more in the works, Joe, which you know about. But I told Yosef on the down low, I want you to get that other direct to seller, and we're going to make it a JV deal, that 70 something unit. I don't care if I got to bring in Dr. Guff at $1 million, but we'll keep it a JV deal because I want that to be another velocity of money for you guys.
Another
So,
JV, it will be sweet.
Yeah. So Joe, you know which one I'm talking about, right? I don't know if he's still there, but anyway.
It's with
But yeah, he might have jumped off. But yeah, so Yosef, what we talked about today, I'll talk to Joe. So we're gonna do the syndications, but I want to get that other deal as a generational wealth. So 1 year later, we refied the Hammond that I put 100 grand in, and I got back 90,000, and I used that money for my next deal. So 2015 in the upturn, I start to run out of money here. So now this is very important, guys, because like I told you, I don't care how much money you have. You're going to run. This is why when a young person comes in and he's 25 and he goes, I want to be financially free at 30. I mean, if you're going to syndicate 10 deals and raise a ton of money and get acquisition, then yeah. But in 2015, I started to run out of my own money. Even after I got this 90K, I invested in other deals. So what I did was my IRA, I teach nowadays, not teach, we don't advise, but in our mastermind, we show people you could switch your IRA to a self-directed or an EQRP and invest it like that to get into the game. Back in the day, I had about a couple $100 grand in my IRA. I didn't know about EQRP and I didn't want to do self-directed. I actually just pulled it out. I paid the 10% penalty on it. I didn't care. You know why? I found such a great deal in the upturn that the cost segregation offset the 10% penalty and the 30% taxes. So at the end of the year, I didn't pay the penalty and I didn't pay the 30% taxes, about the 40%, but I didn't get money back. So if that was liquid money from my bank, I would have got back like 30 or 40 grand from my taxes from the cost seg. But instead of getting the money back, it basically washed everything out because I'm a real estate professional. So I'm not going to go into that. That's really hard to explain, but I didn't care. I put there's 3 strategies: self-directed, EQRP, or just take it out. Me, my brother, and Jake, we just took our money out, and we had. If you could find a good enough deal with a good enough cost segregation and a good enough, then it's worth it. So I just took it out. 2016, 2017 did more deals. 2018, I started to do syndication in 2018, and I'm going to tell you guys why. And I'm going to tell you why a lot of people fail when they go to raise money. Not fail, they struggle. I'm in the mastermind. I'm dealing with a lot of people who are struggling right now that I'm coaching and I'm teaching them. It's 2018, guys. I started in 1998. I didn't syndicate a deal in 2018. I was doing JV deals. I was learning and building up my portfolio. I was building up social proof. I teach people nowadays who really want to raise money, don't have a lot of money, get into an LP position, create momentum, create a credibility page to accelerate them, not do it the way I did it. You want to accelerate, you want to raise money right away, I'll teach you. But it's not the way I did it. So in 2018, if you see here, I had a portfolio and I was proven. So I was already proven. People knew me. People knew I was investing. I was already out there. I was talking to people all those years. So when you're new to it and you're 27 or 25, and even if you're 35 and you don't have any deals, you can raise money. I'm not going to say you can't. It's just not as easy. You need a little social proof, a duplex, a fourplex, have some skin in the game, So when someone syndicates and right here has no portfolio as a GP, not even a 4-family, or here's another one. There's a couple of people that I know, Jake and Gino, they came to me for advice. They had a deal and they wanted me to help raise money for them, track money. And so I said to them, okay, so there's those 4 partners. What do you need? They're like 1.8 million. That's fine. That's easy. I said, how much are you guys putting in the deal? And he's like, well, we're going to put in like maybe 20,000 each. I looked at him. I said, that's okay. I understand. That's why you're raising money, because maybe they don't have the money. I said, there's a lot of deals out there. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. Even doctors, just because a doctor makes a lot of money and has a lot of money, they're not just going to fork it over to you. If a doctor hears you're putting in $20,000 into the deal, sometimes they hear that they're not going to invest because they don't have confidence in it. You don't have enough skin in the game. So I just explained to them. I said, listen, you can raise the 1.8. It's just going to be a little harder on you guys. I don't want you to get discouraged. I'm being realistic. It's going to be harder. You're going to have to work your ass off because you're only putting in 20 grand. In our deals with Chris, all of them now, me, Chris, Dr. Gupta, we put in $1 million usually. And if I don't put in $1 million, I'll put in 500,000 because we have to let people in if the raise isn't that big. So when people see that, it's easier to raise. When they hear, hey, Marco's putting in 200K, he's putting in 50, he feels comfortable because I don't just raise money for my deal. I believe in my deal. I believe it and I show them because I'm investing in my deal. So that's kind of powerful. In one of my deals, it's going to be so easy to raise for. We have a 98 unit opportunity zone warehouse new build starting in November. The builder is putting $750,000. That shows us we didn't even want to do the deal. We didn't even bid on it. He chose me and Chris because he said we're dynamic and he wanted us to do the deal. He felt comfortable us doing the deal with him. So he likes us so much that he's going to put 750 in the project. He's building it. When I tell people that, they're like, the builder's putting 750, you know how like easy it is to raise for that? It makes the people feel confident. They're like, he's building it and he's putting in almost $1 million. So that's going to be an easy raise. So that's what I'm talking about, is having skin in the game. That's why when you want to raise money, try get a duplex, try get a 4-family, try it's proof of concept. People see that you know what you're doing in asset management. You can asset manage the 4-family. You can learn asset management. You know, there's a lot of people who come to me that don't have any deals and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go raise money. I have a lot of friends and family who have money. That's fine. It's just, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. You got to be realistic. People are going to ask, before they give you money, they're going to ask questions like, what do you have? What do you do? Why are you doing this? And then what I teach is, if you're going to do that and you don't have a portfolio, we get into the word leverage. When I was a chef, I leveraged my brother. Like Yosef hears this, it's just repetition. I leveraged my brother because I didn't have that, the big portfolio, or I was a chef. Who wants to give a chef money? So if you guys are starting out to the beginners and you're going to raise money and you don't have a big portfolio, raise with somebody that has something like a Colin Schwartz or somebody, or somebody like us. Raise under them and it's easier. All right. That's the word leverage right here. Frank Lamarck in our mastermind, he just called me. He had that mansion deal. I'm so busy. It's social proof we teach. We're teaching social proof in the mastermind. Frank Lamarck has social proof. He has 30 single families portfolio that are cash flow 20%. He's closing 20 to 30 deals this year. He called me. He's like, I'll send you. I said, Frank, I don't even want to see it. Let me hear about the deal. I sent him money because I believe in him. I like the deal. It's a diversification and he has a portfolio. I know he knows what he's doing. I love the idea. We went over the whole deal. He gave me the whole psychology behind the deal and I told him what to be in it. And then he goes, I'll give you the splits. I said, I don't even care. He's actually going to have splits where he's getting paid more than me, but yeah, he's doing the work. And I was okay with it. And he's like, and he said, you know what, Frank, I trust you because he's in the mastermind. So I just sent him money. Now, if that's somebody who doesn't have portfolio, I'm not just going to send somebody money, but he has social proof. He's shown me that he's doing it. And I see that I have the confidence in him. 2019, I did one deal in the top market. That was before COVID. And then COVID hit. In March, I closed 2 deals before COVID and I thought I was done for the year, but I closed 7 deals. In 2020, I did 1 syndication and 6 general partner regular deals with my brother, Jake, Darren Light, and my partners. And 2021 now, it's a flop. We are doing currently 5 syndications and I want 1 general partner deal. I talked to Yosef, I talked to Joe. I want to get that deal when we can. I want it. I don't care if it's 2 million in. If it's 1, I think it's going to be $1 million or $1.5 million. I want a JV deal because what I told you guys, I want the velocity of money. Yeah, our syndications are going to refi and I'm going to get a little velocity of money from them. but I want that JV, because those syndications, we're going to have investors, and it's a job. I don't want nobody to tell me, hey, multifamily. No, when you syndicate, guys, and you have 20, 30 investors, it's like me at the restaurant having 27 employees. Okay. When you have a general partner deal and you have 5 people, it's just the 5 of you. You get on the phone on a Sunday night, once a month or twice a month, you have a beer, you go over asset management, you go over due diligence, you go over all the bills, you go over the plan on how many evictions and everything. And you're just dealing with 5 guys. When you guys syndicate, just letting you know, it is a job. So don't lie to yourself. And I don't mind doing it, but I'm working. I don't need to do it. I'm financially free, so I don't need to do it, but I want to do it. I'm good at it, and I'm actually part of an awesome team. If it wasn't with Chris Jackson, I would not do syndication. I wouldn't even bother. I don't need to do it. But Chris Jackson is, for the people out here that know him, he's unbelievable. He's great. He's a great partner. And I'm working with Joe Sullivan, and Yosef's working with me, and we have a lot of fun. But if it wasn't for the team, I don't look at the money, guys. I just stack assets. I actually have reached financial freedom for me and my daughters, like my family. My goal now is I have 25 properties. I want to get to 40 properties. I am now working on my kids. So I'm now working on generations. So that's why I'm still doing these syndications and raising money. And I got to be honest, the JV deals are harder to find nowadays. So syndication is a tool in the toolbox. Learn how to do it the right way. If you're a beginner, learn how to use leverage. Like Yosef, reach out to Yosef. He's in the game now. Reach out to people who are doing it. Leverage them. Maybe join on a deal with them. That's it. So in the mastermind, 2021, what we teach now, the big words we talk about is diversification, proximity, evolution. Constant innovation is a Tony Robbins word that he teaches. Either you're innovating or dying. Anything, restaurants, any business. A restaurant is either innovating or dying. My restaurant in 2012, I came out with a marinara sauce company. I jarred a marinara sauce. I did cooking classes. I had a knife kit. I had a cookbook. Constant innovation in any business. I don't care if you're an engineer for a company, you better be getting better, because when they have layoffs, if you're not getting better and you're not the top engineer in that company, you're going to be cut. And if you're not cut, it's because you're constantly innovating. Yosef's a lawyer. Why is he doing well? You know what? He gets in at 8:30 in the morning. He turns the lights on. From the day, you know what's so good about him? From the day he started there, he's the only person. You know how I noticed from talking to him? Because I saw this in him. He's the only person in that office that's still there from the day he started, I think he said to me. He gets there at 8:30 in the morning, turns the lights on, and he starts first, and now he's partner in the company. Okay? Constant innovation, and you got to do whatever it takes. All right. And you'll make it through the recessions. So now that's my website for the mastermind. If you guys want to apply, we could still take a few applications for November. I do have the best community out there besides my mastermind that I would like people to join. I don't want you guys to join the wrong communities, the ones that are 90 units, 90 days, and that make you promises, especially to beginners when they get to be like tonight. I told you guys, get educated. They'll take the beginners in, and it's a false promise. Some of my accomplishments this year is because of my journey. As you guys have seen, I did not do this. I started attracting money in 2018. I started doing deals in 2012. I was building a portfolio. I was building up social proof. I don't have to raise money. I attract money now. In 2000, if I started in 2013, if I want to go raise money in 2013 and 14, I'd have to raise it, call people, give me money, do this, do that. When you can build up social proof, you attract money. So build a small portfolio. A 43 unit, I raised $2.5 million for that deal in one day, 2020. This year, right now, 64, 36, and 72, I attracted money, 1.5 in each deal, 3.5 in the 72, all in one day before the Zoom call. And then once we got to the Zoom, we overfunded it. We currently have 2 more deals. We're doing inspection Wednesday. I think Chris is doing a 106 Wednesday. He's flying out as I'm talking tonight. We have a couple more deals in contract and a couple more LOIs out. So I'm still doing calls and looking to attract some more money and close out those other 2 deals. Pretty much are funded already. So hopefully Joe and Chris give me a little break for the year, because I think I want to be done after 5, I think, or 6. Don't let Chris hear that. But so if you want to set up a networking call with me, there's my number right there. You can learn how to partner with us. start with a small LP position. And I need, to get to know you. I build relationships. I do build systems. I don't like emailing. I don't like to push a button and send an email and attract money, raise money that way. I have 3,000 contacts on this phone plus. I build relationships. I take my time. I reach out to people. I have a certain ethics when somebody's going to invest with me, that I go by, that people appreciate, and that's it. That's it. And let me stop sharing. Maybe we'll open up to if there is any questions.
Okay, thank you, Marco. I saw a couple of questions. But first of all, thank you very much. I think the best takeaway from my end is you must surround yourself with these like-minded, high-performance people. If you want to be successful, you can't just stay with. Well, I love my friends and family, but you can't just stay with where you are. You got to constantly look for people who could push you out of your comfort zone, the people who motivate you, and who could actually inspire you to take actions. And for me, Marco, Joe here, Francesca, Javier, Amanda, Jay, everybody that in this call are the action takers, and I get inspired by them and by seeing them what they do. Okay, so let me see. I saw a couple of questions. Henry, why don't you just unmute yourself and ask that question? If you're
Hi, Mark. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My question was actually I'm in Canada. I'm looking forward to investing in USA, and I'm a private lender, and I'm already investing in some few small multifamily here in Canada. So my question is that I'm already getting around 17% to 20% return. Is it worth going for LP?
So to answer your question, I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's think this through together.
Okay.
So you're getting a good, and that's good if you want to diversify. So that's an excellent return, and I would say no. But I'm going to say yes, maybe. So on your return on investment on your private lending, do you get tax benefits?
No, I have to pay tax.
Yeah. So you have to pay taxes. So it's not 17, 20%. So now your 17% return is really a 14 or 13% return after you pay taxes, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my 36 unit that I just closed it. And people, guys, this is the quote. Whoever hears on my meetups, Valerie, JU, Danny Zito, Abhishek, all my mastermind members, Aaron Clopton, Vienne. This is repetition. I'm going to be saying the same damn things, and I hate doing these because it is the same, but repetition is how we learn. So on the 36 unit we just closed, people don't invest in my deals. They invest in me. Our deal sheet, we had an 8% preferred, 60% IRR, blah, blah, blah. I make them really low. I don't care. My people who invest in me don't even want to, like Nick Raylis, he's like, you got a deal? I'm like, Nick, it's in Columbia. I don't even care, Marco. I'm in for 200K because he's investing in me. He knows the market's going to be good. He knows my deck page is going to say 8% preferred return. He knows I'm going to produce more. That deal, the 36 unit we just closed, Yosef, you're in that one. You're in all of them. We said 8% preferred. We actually got 110,000 back from the lender. We got, instead of 70%, 5% LTV, we had an 80% LTV. It was like a day one refi. We're giving 14 to 15%. With the investors who are in the 36 tonight, there might be a few. They're getting a 14% return. We didn't even tell them yet. I don't care. We're going to surprise them the first month. I don't need to be that, because I have a following now. I don't need to be that syndicator that's like, oh, you're going to get 14%. No, I'd rather go lower. We under promise and over deliver. So they're going to get a 14% return the first 2 years, and then it's going to be the same or even higher on a syndication, which we told them 8%. So now the 14%, that's plus tax benefits. So I'm a real estate professional, so I reap more, but if they're not, it'll still be a 15, 16%. So it depends on the deals. I have an A class right now. We're closing a 72 unit A class. It's a 7% preferred return. It's a 2020 build. It's a beautiful deal. We're actually refining in a year. We said 2, but that's not going to get up to 14%. So if you're getting 17%, I would not tell you to invest in the A class unless you want. The A class is a 2020 build with no CapEx. It is a secure like stock, like your Apple stock, like, So it all depends on what return you want. If you feel you're getting 17% and an 8-10% return is too low, that's what you're going to get. In a syndication, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
unless you
That's
find
what
your
I'm
own
doing.
deal. I have, like I told you, I put 35,000 in my own property in 2013. I'm getting like an 80% return. So if you want higher than an 8% to 10% to 12% return, you need to take the risk. Like we did on the 44 unit, we got a community bank loan. I signed, Joseph signed, Joe signed. Jared didn't want to sign. He didn't sign on it. He took a little bit small percentage. We took the risk. We're signing on a community bank loan. We're going to refi in a year. We're going to go to agency debt. So yeah, I'm going to get a 20% return, but that comes with risk.
Yeah.
So 8% return on your syndication, you're not signing on a loan. You're not doing anything. So 20% and 8%, 20% more risk. Are you willing to take it? Some people are like, yeah, I want the 20% return. Then I'm like, good, sign on the loan. They're like, no, I don't want to sign. I'm like, no. You need to sign on the loan. They're like, I don't want to sign. So then you need to be an LP and get an 8% return.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you can find syndications, by the way. We have an 106 coming up. That's going to be, we're going to tell them 8% preferred return, but it's going to be higher.
Actually, I was a developer. Just to show you what I did. That's one of my building. I design and build myself. Yeah.
So that's
Not in Canada, abroad. Yeah.
It's nice
Okay.
building. It's great.
Yeah. So our 64 unit also, we told people 8% return preferred. The rents are $775 going to $995. They're actually going to $1,200 because we're going to do 10 students on them. So when they go from $775 to $1,200, they're going to be 15 plus returns. They're going to be on a syndication. We didn't tell our investors that. I'm not telling my investors. I'm going to surprise them in year 2. You know, so it all depends on who you invest with. Some syndicators will put a high IRR. They want to get you in. They need to raise money, you know, and if depending on the return you want, if you want a higher return than 8-10%, you're not going to get it on a syndication. Unless back in the day, actually in 2015, syndications were giving 15% preferreds, I think. And they were doing like 5% acquisition fees. And then as the cap rates started to get compressed, it went down to 12% preferred, 10% preferred. 2019, an A class was at 5% preferred, and a B and C class was at 7% preferred in 2019. And the acquisition fees were going down to 1% and 2% instead of 3%. You know,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Avi, you had a question you want to unmute and ask? We just have 3 more questions, I believe.
Right. So my question was, Marco, like, what's the future of multifamily going forward, right? We are seeing a lot of markets are like going towards New York or California, right? Where the returns are decreasing and the cash flow is becoming less and less. So is the market going to soar and all the markets, 50 states are going to become like California or New York, or what's the future like?
Abhishek, you're my master. I'm going to give you the secret answer when we get off the call.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm kidding. So it is kind of a secret answer. So I'm going to tell you our strategy. The future of multifamily. Somebody like Jay Helms, and he's very good. All of them. He put up a post. Multifamily's too crowded. It is. Like I told you, in 2015, there weren't many podcasts. Now everybody's got a podcast, right? There's free education everywhere. Where I told beginners, you don't need to pay right away. Like Rod Cleve gives everything away. My brother gives everything away. So do we in the mastermind. I have free education. You know, as prices continue to rise. So Abhishek, what we're going to do in the mastermind for you, what are we doing? We are doing special direct to seller techniques. That's why we're going to get deals and a lot of other people aren't. I have 5 deals in contract, the 6th one in contract, not one's from a broker. Actually, one's from a broker, but the broker's he only wants me and Chris. That's why. But there's 6. 5 of them are direct to seller. In 2013, all my deals were coming from a broker. So what is the future of multifamily? The future of multifamily is it's still the best space to be in. It's good you're in the mastermind because I'm going to help you find deals. People who are doing it on their own, they'll still be able to find deals here and there, but it's not as easy as if you're Jake and Gino or the mastermind or another community. Cash flow. The deals are still here. This is a good year for deals, guys. The 44 unit that me and Joseph have and Joe, it's day one at 500. We've got over 500 rents. If we raise rents at 530, it's like a 12% return day one at 530. With the new leases, we're getting like 560, I think. I don't know exact numbers. That's like a 15% return. At 750, 795, we're going to be 20 plus return on this deal. So the deals are still there. You have to find them. And if you actually want to find them, you got to give Joe Sullivan a call. He'll tell you how he's finding them. So where I'm going from is I'm not buying in Knoxville, Tennessee anymore. I want to, but I have 1,800 units there. It's just too competitive. Nashville, Tennessee too. The outskirts. I would love to buy Nashville, but it's blowing up. Our secret strategy, I'm not going to tell you what markets, but we are looking at tertiary markets. So now the word tertiary, you have to be careful because tertiary could be very bad, meaning if there's no population growth, you cannot buy there. So if it's flat or going down, you're not buying that tertiary market. But if a tertiary market is growing and it's a good tertiary market, we found a couple that we're very happy with, me and Chris and Joe, and they're tertiary markets. And I did a lot of research on them. I actually paid money for a very big article from a very smart guy in the space. It costs quite a bit of money. And he shows you which tertiary market's expanding and which one he's predicting. He's like one of those financial guys that for the last 30 years, he's always been right. And he predicted these three markets that people might not be looking at. And those are the three markets that I'm looking at. So you need to, somebody came in today into one of our communities and he said his market's Huntsville, Alabama and Nashville, Tennessee. It's like, he's a beginner. I'm like, that's good. They're very competitive markets. They're great markets. So I told him, if you're going to do Nashville, it's got to be like, are you doing sub markets or, so now I got to take him aside and teach him. Like, he's like, oh, I want Tampa. I'm like, okay, Tampa, like, you know, if he's a beginner coming in, it's like, you're not going to find Tampa, maybe a sub market or a tertiary, you know, of Tampa, New Smyrna Beach or something like that. So multifamily is always going to be good. You just got to be, if you really want to be serious about it, you really got to join something. You know, I mean, you could just, everybody here on this call knows Joseph. You can ask him. He joined Jake and Gino, joined the mastermind. Valerie joined Jake and Gino, joined the mastermind. Francesca joined Jake and Gino, joined the mastermind. I'm not saying join us, but surround yourself with a good community. Javier right there and Amanda are in my mastermind. This is a great cause. Most of I'm not saying to join us, but if you really want to get ahead, join somebody. Will cash flow and are there enough multifamily apartments available? Are there enough? I think that's why on my presentation, I use the word diversification. So when people are struggling finding their own deal, my advice is get your money, a small 50,000 into an LP position or 100,000, create that momentum. We teach that momentum word. Diversify. In my mastermind, we have a crypto chat. John Beatty, now crypto, by the way, crashed. I'm all out. John Beatty in 3 months made me $100,000. Chris he joked on the chat, on the crypto chat. Marco's a great GOAT, greatest of all time. I bought a lot of these altcoins. John Beatty on our chat showed me how to buy the altcoins and sell them, take my gains and put them into Ether and Chainlink, two of my favorites. And I did that from November to February. And I ended up selling Ether out of 2,600. And I took all my gains out and I just recently lost about $5,000, but I made about $100,000. I took that 100K and I put it into multifamily. So if multifamily, is there enough apartments? If you're struggling, there will always be deals. But if you're struggling on finding your deal, say you're part of a mastermind and you are. We have a crypto chat. We look at storage. We look at mobile home parks. We look at new build. We're looking, John Beatty's looking at tiny homes. He's so smart, man. We're looking, Frank Lamarck started a lead generation business, fix and flip. Joe and Mike, you guys on the call tonight? Mike's right there. Mike, tell them what you invested in as a diversification.
So I with Marco and Frank Lamarck and as well Bailey. He's a mastermind student as well. We invested in this Airbnb. It was actually seller finance, actually pretty cool. So Frank is going to turn it into it's going to be a pretty badass Airbnb, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff. There's a lot going on with it, and it was an opportunity, and it got me excited when Marco was part of it, and again we just closed on it last week, so the fun begins now, and hoping to keep growing with that.
So Mike joined Jake and Gino, and he's in my mastermind. And what we just said, is there enough multifamily? Well, he's looking for multifamily, and I want him to learn with me for a year. He needs to educate for a year with me. And while he's educating, he's creating momentum. Do I want an Airbnb? I have 17 generational wealth and 8 syndications. This is my first Airbnb. I actually wanted one. And it's with Frank Lamarck. He's really good in the space. So I invest with people who are the masters in the space. And Mike's in there, and Joe's in there. We're partners now. We're gonna actually get jet skis over there. Actually, I invested in a deal because I just want to go use the jet skis, dude. So
yeah, I mean, one thing is like Marco said, guys, like multifamily, it's a great place. I mean, it's phenomenal, but I mean, it also opens up your eyes like Airbnb. I never thought about Airbnb till this deal. So the sky's the limit. Just got to go out there and just do a lot of your research and do a lot of your homework as well.
So to stay motivated in the space, diversify, guys. Are like fixing. I'm not a fix and flipper. Everybody's flipping houses. Like Frank Lamarck's good at it. Get a friend that's good at it. Invest. Hadar, my partner in New Zealand, he got Ian. Ian's on this call. He has Ian and Hoon. And Hadar is good at fixing and flipping. I told him, I said, go get one, man. Make them some money. He went, he got a deal. He's bringing Ian and Hoon in, and they're doing it together, and they're going to make like 50,000 each on the deal in 3 months. And I'd rather them be in multifamily, but while they're looking for their own deal, it's my 6-year-old daughter. While they're looking for their own deal, he's doing something. He's got his money working for him, and he's in the game. It's hot right now. Hadar's awesome at it. And I think they just listed the house. Ian, are you on the call?
He had to jump off.
I think he had to jump off, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so he's doing so. So I mean, whether it's fixing, I mean, everybody's fixing and flipping now. It's going to be good for another year or two, I think, until rates go up and the supply and demand issue. But fix and flip. Airbnb, guys. Do I like Airbnb? I know nothing about it. I actually wanted one. You know why? I don't care about the money I invested in it. I don't care about the return. I want to learn about it. How do you learn about it? Get into it. I got into a Frank Lamarck who's really good at it. So I'm going to get paid from him to learn. And then if I like it, maybe I'll buy one more. I don't think I'm going to like it because it's a job. I'd rather do the multifamily. Airbnb is more of a job. You know what I'm saying? But it is cool. And I know people who do it full time. And so that's why I did that. Michelle. Any other questions?
Oh, thank you. I think the last question Javier had was about 1031, right? Go ahead, Javier, unmute and.
Yeah, I was just curious, Marco, where you see things going with the proposed changes to the 1031 exchange laws.
So people make a big deal about this 1031, and I'm not an accountant. I'm going to do this disclosure. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to give you my opinion. So a lot of syndicators will take like 300,000 from somebody from 1031. Me and Chris probably won't anymore. We have our 72 units. Somebody's giving us, a friend of mine that I know well, trusts us. He's giving us $1.1 million on a 1031 in the 72 unit deal, Joseph, that we're closing. We just got offered 400, 500,000, another 1031. I'm not going to take it. They couldn't believe it. I'm like, I don't need it because I could fund deals. A syndicator who can't needs money bad will take that. The reason is, Amanda, when you take the 1031, I'm learning this from Chris, by the way. I've never had to do this. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of work, lawyers and going back and forth. You have to do a tenant in common. The structure you have to set up, and there's like 40,000 or 50,000 in fees that we have to pay for, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's got to be more than 200,000. What I'll negotiate somebody who brings me a 1031. I'll say, listen, yeah, we're saving Bill 400,000 in taxes, but I'm like, dude, if there's like 50,000 in fees or something, we got to talk about that. If he's giving me that much money, we'll probably eat it. You know what I'm saying? So there's two options on a 1031. If they take it away, I really don't even care. Like Biden, I mean, if I have to do 1031, you know why? I will try and find a deal that's good. And if you do the cost seg, it'll offset the taxes, I think. I'm a real estate professional. If you're not a real estate professional, maybe it won't as much. I think you need it more. But I told somebody, it was like they had like 300,000. I'm like, just find a great deal. Get a good cost segregation. It's the same thing. You'll offset your taxes. You'll still pay some taxes, but it won't be that big of a deal. You know, but if you have $1 million, then yeah, you need to do a 1031. And if anybody has over, we just got that text today. I swear to God, I'm not going to say the name. Is a friend of ours. He's like, our friend has a $500,000 1031. Chris just told him, he's like, we're only taking $1 million and above on 1031s. You know, and Chris can confidently say that because I'm able to fund a deal in one day. You know, if I was having problem funding my deal, I would take 200,000 or 300,000. So, why do you guys have a 1031 coming up or not?
No, I was just curious. There's just a lot of talk about it right now.
The people worrying about it, and most people, it's funny, they're never even gonna do 1031 in their life. You know, I'm probably gonna do one, and I don't even care. I think we're selling Riverport, and I'm gonna get 250,000 out, and I don't even care. I'm just gonna invest it. I have 7. You know what it is? I have 7 cost segregations from last year. It's gonna offset it. You know, so I just you know what you want to do? Stack assets, get cost segregations. Don't worry about 1031. That's why you invest as an LP. You invest as an LP and you get some cost segregation from that. You find your own GP deal. Then if you sell something, you don't got to worry about the 1031 because you have 2 cost segregations. That's all I do. I don't do stuff for money. I like to be successful. I just stack assets. I don't worry about the money. The money follows after a year or two after. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I think that's all. Marco, it's 9:30. Thank you very much for staying this late, everyone. Today was a great session again. I think we could call it a day, Marco.
Yeah, I put if anybody wants, I put my information up on the chat, some of the websites and stuff like that. Please reach out any questions.
Yes. Easy. It's marcobarbaro.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Joseph, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up. And it's really nice to see a lot of my mastermind members. Bridget, also out there, I see you, new to Jake and Gino. Bridget is an excellent high-end realtor in where? California, Bridget? You're on mute.
I'm in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, you're in Tampa, Florida.
Mhm.
Okay, so good. So we're going to hook you up with all the Tampa. We're going to hook you up with Nico, Salgado, and all our Tampa people and Jake and Gino.
Yes, excited.
All right, excellent. I just want to say thank you, everybody. And
Great.
any questions, reach out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Have a great night and see you guys soon.
Yeah, take care.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Whoa. Stop.